Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and good morning. I'm pleased to present you on the workshop background under Agenda Item 2. At the opening of this workshop, you have heard from the Secretary General that the protection of marine environment from harmful effects which may arise from activities in the area is at the core of ISA mandates. Building on this mandate from Article 145 of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, ISA has been developing and adopting a policy and regulatory framework for environmental management with an aim to make them adaptive, practical, and technically feasible. As highlighted in the ISA strategic plan adopted in 2018, the development of regional environmental assessment and regional environmental management plans is one of the important pillars for ISA efforts in building effective environmental management framework together with environmental impact assessment as well as environmental monitoring and management system to be undertaken by the contractors within their contract areas. ISA has developed environmental management plans at regional scale since 2012, where exploration activities under contracts are carried out. Regional environmental management plans, or REMPs, provide a proactive framework for identifying environmental management measures and tools at regional scale, including area-based management tools and scientific approaches to address cumulative impacts and apply adaptive management. For example, the Environmental Management Plan of the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, or CCZ, in the Eastern Pacific was approved in 2012, establishing a network of 9 areas of particular environmental interest, or APEIs, to represent the full range of biodiversity and habitats in the region. The APEIs in CCZ, collectively covering 1.4 million square kilometers, are entirely protected from any future mining activities. As highlighted by the opening statement of the Secretary General, the Council considered essential that the development of REMPs be carried out under the auspices of the authority through a transparent and coordinated process. REMPs are established by a decision of the Council on a recommendation of the Legal and Technical Commission, and each contractor is to comply with the decision of the Council relating to REMPs. In its 25th session, Council encouraged the Secretariat and the Commission to make progress on the development of regional environmental management plans, in particular where there are currently exploration contracts. In its 26th session, Council highlighted standardized approaches for the development, approval, and review of the REMP. Pursuant to this decision, LTC is currently working on further development of guidance to facilitate the development of regional environmental management plans. As explained in the previous slide, the development of REMP is taking place where there are currently exploration contracts. ISA's work on environmental management is directly linked to very fundamental scientific activities in the deep ocean through the contractors' exploration activities, such as research crews, sampling, lab analysis, and submission of annual reports and digital data to ISA Secretariat. Almost 40 years of continuous scientific research undertaken by pioneer investors and contractors during exploration of deep-sea minerals, both before and after the entry into force of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, represent a major contribution to our collective knowledge of the deep-sea environment. Under the exploration contract, contractors are obliged to gather environmental baseline data. Contractors also establish a program to monitor and report the effects of their exploration activities, including any testing of equipment on the marine environment against such environmental baselines. This data will be the primary inputs into an environmental impact assessment process as part of the future application for an exploitation contract. Likewise, the environmental data collected and submitted by contractors become the major source of information required for developing regional environmental assessment and REMP, together with other scientific data and information compiled at the regional scale. As you can see in this slide, while there has been a delay due to global pandemic situation, ISA Secretariat continues to make progress in organizing REMP workshop in collaboration with the relevant members of the Legal and Technical Commission, member states, contractors, and other partner organizations, including this workshop for Northwest Pacific, as well as the one to be organized next month for Northern Mid-Atlantic Reach, building on the previous workshop held in Qingdao in 2018 and in Evora last year. The result of this workshop will also provide inputs to the forthcoming workshop in this region to be organized next year in collaboration with partner organizations in Japan. As you may have seen in the background documents prepared for this workshop, such as draft report on regional environmental assessment and data report, the development of an REMP requires highly consolidated process of compiling, analyzing, and synthesizing scientific data and information. This intensive expert process has started well before the workshop through the excellent collaboration of numerous experts and their respective institutions. Taking this opportunity, I would like to convey our deepest gratitude from the ISA Secretariat to those who have been contributing to this process of scientific preparation to support the workshop deliberation. With this background, I'm now happy to invite my colleague, Dr. Wanfei Chu, Program Manager for Marine Environment, to introduce you this workshop's scope, objectives, and expected outputs. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jihyun. My name is Wanfei, and I'm the Program Manager for Marine Environment at ISA Secretariat. It is a pleasure to brief you on the objectives and expected outputs of this workshop. As the Secretary General mentioned in his opening statement, this workshop is a continuation of the discussion we started in the Qingdao workshop about 2 years ago, and we look forward to further some of the discussions that initiated then. For example, on how to use the best available scientific information to support the development of ramps in this region. The workshop objectives are, first, to review, analyze, and synthesize available scientific information data related to the geological and environmental settings in the region, as well as biodiversity, habitats, and ecosystem and other environmental features in this region. And second, to review exploration activities and distribution of resources in this region, which includes both polymetallic nodules and cobalt-rich crusts. And third objective is to describe potential areas and sites which may require enhanced management measures and precautions. And lastly, to discuss a framework to assess cumulative impacts from future exploitation activities. So the expected outputs from this workshop would be the description and identification of area-based management tools. Many of you may be familiar with the Environmental Management Plan for the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, which has been adopted and implemented since 2012. In the Environmental Management Plan for the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, a network of 9 APEIs, areas of particular environmental interests, were created to protect a full range of habitats in the clearing-Clapton zone. Last year, during the Evora workshop on the development of REMP in the northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge, additional area-based management tools were discussed, which included, for example, sites of in need of protection, as shown in the figure in the middle, which are designed to protect features such as active vents, which occur at much smaller scale. The participants will also engage in interactive modeling exercises to identify and develop a framework for the assessment of cumulative impacts. And you will be also going through and provide feedback and comments on the data report and draft regional environmental assessment reports. Both draft reports were prepared in advance of this workshop and will be improved and revised in the post-workshop process based on your comments and feedback. So let me briefly introduce the program and how the workshop deliberations will be organized. The workshop will be divided into several parts. The first part will take place mostly during the first and second day of the workshop and will feature a number of thematic presentations under agenda items 2 and 3. These presentations will be followed by Q&A session to allow more interactive discussion. And in this part, you also hear introductions from the two facilitators and their teams on the approaches for organizing the group discussion and for synthesize the results from the group discussion. The second part of the workshop will be the breakout sessions, and it is under agenda item 4 in the workshop program. Participants will engage in moderated breakout groups, group discussions facilitated by the two facilitators. And the summaries will be prepared and reported back to the plenary discussion. These summaries will also provide written inputs for the draft workshop report. So the final part of the workshop will be a summary and conclusion section, which is under agenda item 5 in the workshop program. In this part of the workshop, you will hear summaries from the co-chairs about the key conclusions and outcomes of this workshop, and you will be also given opportunities to review the workshop report and comment on the key conclusions in the draft workshop report. So here, let me explain in more detail how we envisage to organize the breakout sessions. So for the breakout discussions, it will follow two themes. The first theme are area-based management tools, which will be facilitated by Dr. Pat Harpin and his team. And the second theme will focus on cumulative impacts assessment. And the second thematic discussion will be facilitated by Dr. Piers Dunstan and Jeff from CSR Thyroid. So the participants will also be divided into two groups, which are based on the main habitats in this region. The first group will focus on seamount benthic habitats, and the second group will focus on pelagic and abyssal plain habitats. So starting from day 3, 28th of October Jamaica time, the participants will meet their facilitators, and each group will meet with each facilitator for a discussion within a 4-hour session. So on day 3, group 1 will meet with the PAT to discuss the area-based tools, and Group 2 will meet with Jeff and peers to discuss cumulative impacts. On the next day, which is the 29th of October, to make a time, the two groups will meet with a different facilitator. So Group 2 will meet with Pat to discuss the area-based management tools, and Group 1 will meet with the peers to discuss cumulative impacts. During the second week, on day 5, the discussion will begin in a plenary session, and during which the facilitators will present a brief summary of the key points that were discussed during the first week of the group discussions. And then the group participants will again meet with the facilitators to continue with the second session. So on day 5, Group 1 will meet to discuss ABMT, and Group 2 will meet to discuss the cumulative impacts. And then they meet with another facilitator on the next day, on day 5. On day 7, also, the facilitators will again present a summary to report back to the plenary session about the overall discussion and the key points that came across that were discussed in the two breakout sessions. More detailed guidance, you can find more detailed guidance in the document we prepared titled Guidance on Breakout Sessions. In that document, you'll find the preliminary grouping of participants, along with more guidance on methodologies and templates we're going to use to collect information and inputs from you. If you have any questions on the organization of the workshop, myself and my colleagues will be available also for further discussion. That's all from me for now. Thank you, and I look forward to working with all of you in this workshop.